Welcome to my first time. It's my first video on the channel and hopefully it comes out alright. I don't have a intro video yet because it's brand new. Yeah, let's go make some food. Here I'm breaking the stem off the pumpkin, which was a mistake. I should have actually left it on. It would have been a lot easier to chop it because it kept moving around because it's, round. If you decide to try this, I would definitely suggest leaving the stem on and being very careful because it is kind of hard to cut the pumpkin in half. Don't want to chop off a finger. Then I spent the next 8 or 9 minutes scraping the seeds out of the pumpkin. That's one down, on to the next one. That out of the way, it's time to roast them. Put them skin side up and throw them in the oven. With the pumpkin roasting in the oven, it's time to start with the dough. I cubed up the butter and mixed it into the flour. I've never cubed up butter before, but I have to say that I think my technique's pretty solid. The next step was measuring out a pound of flour. I bought a 2-pound bag, so just need half. Let's say that's about half. With the butter cubed and half the flour in the bowl, it's time to mix them. And I have to say that this part was very strange. I have never done anything like this before, and it was weird. Very weird. The dough just needs egg, and it's ready to go. And I have to say that at first I really didn't think it would actually turn into a dough. It was very hard and very sticky and kind of gross, but eventually it did actually come together, and you'll see that it actually did turn into a dough. That was pretty cool. There's gotta be a better way to make dough. See, told you. Although that ended up proving to be the easy part. I haven't really rolled out a lot of doughs, so the next part is a little embarrassing. All right, so I started laying out the dough. And I, rolled it out a little bit. It actually, in the beginning, looked pretty round. It was pretty nice. I split the dough in half and started working from there. For some reason, I thought that was enough, I guess. I don't really know. But then I rubbed some butter on the pan, which I don't even know if that was necessary. I'm sure you're noticing that, one, it's actually very hard to roll out a dough with just your hands. And two, I keep getting the dough to stick to the counter and stuff, and I couldn't find the rolling pin anywhere, so I ended up using a mason jar that we keep for a cup. Improvisation, I guess. It took me quite a bit to figure out that I should be flouring the dough in the counter, and it took several minutes. I don't know how I kept getting it that bad, but I really couldn't really get it to go circular again. It was very odd. Oh. Next step, putting the dough in the pan. There were some gaps that I had to fill, though. Now for the blind baking. Now I don't have any pie weight, but I do have fava beans, no Chianti. I was rushing through the whole pie crust process because the pumpkin was almost done. If I had to do this again, I would make the crust first and then let it cool while I was roasting the pumpkin and making the filling, because I did it backwards and it took probably 2 hours longer than it should have. What you see here is me taking the roasted pumpkin and putting it into the stand mixer, and then realizing that I should probably measure the amount of pumpkin because I was supposed to have 2 cups. So then I take it out of the stand mixer and then measure it, and then put it back in the stand mixer, and then realize that I should have strained it. So then I had to take it back out of the stand mixer to strain it again. So that was fun. Oh, and pumpkin doesn't go through a strainer. You have to push it through, and it kind of gets stuck on the other side. So then you have to scrape that off. So that was fun. Alright, time to assemble the filling, and for whatever reason my camera decided that it didn't want the forward view anymore. It wanted to switch it around and kind of look back at me, and I don't know how it did that, nor why. Well, that spoon doesn't fit. Let me try the other one. That's allspice, by the way. We're adding that in. And then we have the ginger and the milk. Funny thing about adding the milk, I do add it in piecemeal while I mix correctly, but I did it in the wrong order, and you'll see in a second that I should have added eggs. I eventually remembered to add eggs, but then it was a big soupy mess, and I don't even know if I really incorporated them all the way because I was supposed to mix them before. Hey, whatever. Mistakes happen. sad pie crust. If you look, you can see the expertness that I made it with. The holes. It was my first time making a pie crust, so it is what it is. Ladle, ladle, ladle. Ladle. Now for the arts and crafts. For this, you'll need a brown sheet of construction paper, a yellow sheet of construction paper, and an orange sheet of construction paper. Now what you're going to do is draw your pumpkin on the orange sheet of paper. Grab your glue stick. Oh yeah, you're going to need a glue stick too, forgot about that. And glue the brown to the yellow. And the orange to the yellow. We're going to draw the little pumpkin face. Oh, I should actually put teeth there. Then you just cut it out. Careful not to go too high on that side. Keep the shape together. Trim that off. Alright, now we cut out the eyes. The nose and the mouth. Careful when you go to cut those, you don't accidentally cut yourself. Done that when I was a kid. That was not fun. I think I might still have the scar on my hand. Fun. Probably should have glued this bottom piece first, but make sure you don't put any glue on the stem. Then you finish the cut up here. And just trim away these two pieces. And now you have a pumpkin. Little pumpkin. Or I guess little pumpkin. Alright. If you're wondering, I'm testing its jiggliness. And it's done. Alright, so maybe I've seen better pies, but it's the best pumpkin pie I've ever made. It's a little ugly. Yeah.
Whip it good.
Whip it real good? Probably fine. I should have used a sharp knife.
Should have taken the foil all the way off.
Yeah, well,
You know, it's not good for photogenic things.
mistakes were made. Yeah. I can't. I buttered this too.
You overcooked it.
Despite its visual shortcomings, the pie was actually pretty good. Although, probably could have used more cinnamon or other spices, but it was pretty good.